Good morning, everyone. My name is Nitin Marwatkar, and I'm part of the global technical team. Just to give you a very brief background about myself, I have around 12 years of experience in the car industry, out of which the last 6 years I've been associated with Siemens, and I've been handling Solid Edge and its portfolio of products. And for today's session, as Danish mentioned, we are going to be talking about a fantastic collaboration tool that we have within the Siemens portfolio called Xcelerator Share. And to help me with this, I have my colleague, Deepak.
Hello all, I'm Deepak Kulkarni. I'm product manager for Xcelerator Share, and I'm here to talk about Xcelerator Share. And if you have any questions about Xcelerator Share, we will be here. We have a booth over there on this left corner. So if you have anything, you can walk me and talk about anything about Xcelerator Share.
Thanks, Deepak. All right. So what exactly is Xcelerator Share? Well, Xcelerator Share is basically, as Danish mentioned, it's a collaboration tool. All right, the collaboration tool which we offer as Xcelerator as a service, which we need just touch based on. All right. Now the good thing about this solution, that is Xcelerator Share, is that it is all the capabilities of this collaboration tool are tightly integrated with pretty much all the solutions within the Siemens portfolio. So what that means for you as a customer is, let's say if you buy a product such as Solid Edge SaaS or even NX SaaS. So what you're getting, basically is a hybrid model. So when I say hybrid model, you're basically getting the desktop model of Solid Edge or NX. Along with it, you're getting a cloud-based collaboration tool. All right. Now, the good thing, like I mentioned, since this cloud-based collaboration tool is common for all the solutions, it makes it all the more easier for designers or engineers working across domains, be it simulation, be it manufacturing, be it design, to collaborate with each other easily. All right? So what we did was, we did a survey with our customers just to find out, what are the, how do they collaborate between themselves or their customers, or even for the matter, their vendors and all. And are there any challenges that they face? So once we did a survey, these are the challenges that came across. First and foremost, teams are no longer co-located. I think everybody can relate to this over the past 3 years where people have been working from remote places. So gone are the days where where you talk about small or medium-based companies where you have design team or manufacturing team or simulation team based out of the same building, right? So you don't have that anymore nowadays. So nowadays, even today for the matter, we have a lot of people who are working from home. So collaborating between these engineers or these designers is a little bit difficult. So that was one challenge that we saw. Other challenges is when you're talking about creating a product. Yes, you might be creating a product completely in-house, but there are a lot of times when you're depending upon your suppliers or your vendors for some border items. So how do you collaborate with them? It's not necessary that when you share your designs across with them, that they'll have access to NX or Solid Edge, right? So that becomes a problem. How do you share your data across to them? So that again is a big issue. Third one, again, this is something which I think a lot of designers can relate to. Let's say you're working on designing a very complicated part. You spend 2-3 hours, creating the part. When you give it for approval, your design manager comes and says, you know what? I'm sorry, but you created that design on a previous version. There are some changes that have been made, so you need to redo that. That becomes very frustrating, right? So that again is the issue. There's always a confusion as to which data set is the latest one that is available for us. And again, we have domain expertise. So like I mentioned, when you're talking about creating a product, you have multiple sections. So it might be design section, it might be your manufacturing section, it might be your simulation analysis section. And it's not necessary they are based in the same area. Some of them may be based in Mumbai. So let's say that the design department is in Mumbai, the manufacturing is in Pune, and the simulation is somewhere else. So all of them need to have access to the current data all the time. So how do you enable that? Right? That again is a challenge. And productivity is limited by a device. I'll give you a very simple example. Now, there's a burning issue on the floor. There's a manufacturing design which needs to be modified ASAP. All right. So the manufacturing team has told the designer that, you know what, you need to make some changes to your design. Fine, the designer makes some changes to it, and he sends it to the manager for approval. Now, unfortunately, the design manager is traveling outside. All right? Now, in order for him to approve it, what does he need to do? He needs to have access to his system. So he needs to have access to his laptop. He opens that laptop, he views that model, and then decides whether to approve it or whether to give it back to a designer for making the changes. But then the issue is you are limited, or the design manager is restricted to his machine, right? That itself is a big problem when it comes to collaboration. And the last one, this is but obvious, security. Now your designs, whatever you design, is a USP of the company. You don't want to compromise it in any way, right? So how do you make sure that that whatever designs that you're sharing doesn't go in, somebody else's hand? How do you make sure of that? So these are the challenges which basically Xcelerator Share, addresses. So now the question must be, okay, fine, what has that got to do with Solid Edge? How is that going to benefit you, somebody who's working on Solid Edge all this time? Well, all this time, basically, when you talk about Solid Edge, you've been working in a silo. All right? Again, I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say you're a designer, you're working in furniture, and you've been asked to design a chest of drawers. All right? So what do? You take the dimensions, you create a 3D model of it, and then you create a manufacturing drawing for it. Right? So that's what you've been working on. That's what you've been traditionally been doing all this time. But now, when you have Xcelerator Share available along with Solid Edge, it opens up multiple opportunities. It gives you a way of collaborating or speaking to your customers, speaking to your suppliers. How do you do that? Let's start with collaboration first. Like I mentioned, this is a collaboration tool, right? So this tool is same across all domains within Siemens. So again, I'm repeating, if you have simulation, if you're working on manufacturing, if you're working on design, you'll have access to the same collaboration tool. So what that means is whatever design that you're working on, since it's the same for all the people, that becomes your single source of truth. Everybody has access to your same designs. All right? There's no question of the data set being previous release or anything of the sort. No. Everything is current. And there's always a real-time communication. So let's say, again, example I can give you is a design or a manufacturing engineer. He finds out that the part that has come for manufacturing is a bit difficult to manufacture. So that means they need to make some changes to the design. So what he does is he creates a markup on his design, again on Xcelerator Share, on the cloud platform itself. He creates a platform and he lets the design team know, yeah, this is the changes that we need to make. All right, so that is the kind of real-time communication we can provide. Now, when it comes to task management, let's take an example of a design manager. Now, the design manager knows that there's a task which has been assigned to his team. So within his team, he can allocate that task of making the changes to his design directly within the collaboration tool, that is Xcelerator Share. He can assign that task to a designer. Not only that, he can assign a due date to it as well. So once he assigns a task, automatically the person that task has been assigned to gets a mail stating this is a task which has been assigned and the due date for that task as well. All right, so that's the kind of task management that we provide. And of course, permission-based project sharing. Like I mentioned, you don't want your data to leak out to somebody else. So you can completely define whether you want that, you want to share that data across with a person and you want a person to have the access to download it, or just you wanted to share it with your customer and just need to review it. Complete permission you can provide. So that was about collaboration. What about data management and security? Well, first and foremost, like I mentioned, it is completely on cloud. So this is we provide you with a secure cloud storage. So what I mean by that is whatever data that you're uploading on the cloud is going to be completely encrypted. So when I talk about encryption, that means only your company will be able to access those files. Nobody else will be able to access those files at all. All right, so that's the kind of encryption that we're providing. Then we have multi-user override protection. So again, I'll give you a simple example of a designer. Now, designer is working on a part. He's been asked to make those changes to this part. He's trying to make the changes to this part. But when he's changing that part, nobody else on the cloud, be it simulation guys or be it manufacturing guys or whoever it is, they won't have access to those parts in the meantime. Again, that is the kind of data management we provide inbuilt with the cloud collaboration tool. And of course, we understand that it's not possible for all people to have access to internet all the time. All right? Many a times, from a designer's perspective, they need to go to a remote area where they might not have access to the internet at all. So what happens then? Well, for that, we have a desktop and a cloud syncing, data syncing tool called the Siemens Connector. So with the Siemens Connector, you are able to synchronize all the files on your desktop to your cloud. So let's say you go to a remote place where you don't have access to your internet, no worries. You can still have it on your desktop. You can make changes to your design. You can work on the design. And once you have access to your internet, it will automatically synchronize all the changes directly to your cloud. So that way, whatever data that you're working on is always in sync and always current. So that was about data management. What about mobility? Like I mentioned, this particular tool is based on cloud, so you're not restricting yourself to any software. So what that means is, if you want to approve it or if you want to view those files, you don't need to download anything. You can view all those files on your mobile, you can view them on your tablets even, right? And you don't need to install any third-party application. Everything is on cloud. And since it's on cloud, you can do multiple options like, you can create markups, you can explode those files to view, you can zoom into those parts and assemblies to view those files easily. So that's again a big advantage. You're not restricted to a particular system or a solution. And then we have scalable computing. So what that means is, again, I'll give you the same example of the designer who's creating the furniture. Now, you want to see whether it fits in the desired space or not. So they can do that with the help of the augmented reality that is, again, available with the help of or within Xcelerator Share. So these are the different options, or these are the different possibilities which are open once you decide to go with Xcelerator Share for Solid Edge. Now, next, what I would like to do is I would like to give you a very quick introduction as to how this Xcelerator Share looks like. So what we have over here is basically a dashboard which whenever a user logs in, he'll get access to this. So you'll see that we have the assignments that has been assigned to that designer. So he can have access to this. And he can also view with the assignments by status as well. Now, let's say I want to check the due date, and I realize that I want to change it to paused. Fine, I can do that directly on my dashboard. And once it's done, you can see that it has changed, and now I can change it to in progress as well. So it's very easy for changing the status of an assignment. Now, let's say somebody who is completely new for Xcelerator Share. They don't know what button to click and all of these things. I'll give you a simple example. I want to create a project over here. All right, I want to create a project and I want to add my files. Again, for that, it's very, very intuitive. So we have a help button. We can directly key in whatever command that we're looking for. So for example, I can put in create project, and I can directly create a project and give it a name. So I'm going to name this as boiler, and I can provide a due date for that as well. All right. Once I'm done with this, now I need to upload my files. So these files are on my system right now. So I can directly upload all of these files. You can see that I have NX files. Now the reason I'm showing NX files is just to show how versatile this solution is. We are not restricting again to only for Solid Edge. This solution, like I mentioned, is available for all solutions within the Siemens ecosystem, right? So I have selected NX files and I'm uploading them. So within a few seconds, you can see that all of these files get uploaded and are available on cloud. Now, like I mentioned before, we have a connector which basically synchronizes the data from the cloud to your desktop. All right. So we'll just see how this connector works. So over the connector, if I go inside my settings, I can see all the projects that I'm working on. Now I added the boiler project just now on my cloud. So it is not yet synced to my desktop. If I want to sync it, I can just click on the check mark, and now all the files within that folder will be available on my desktop as well. Now just to show you what are the different file formats that we support. As I mentioned, we support the design files. So of course, NX and Solid Edge are going to be there. But if we're talking about neutral files, we support that as well. Even if you're talking about competitive software, we have support for SolidWorks as well. All right, so this was about design, but then we support all the simulation solutions as well. So all the results we can easily upload over here. One more thing, when you're working on projects, you're not going to be working only on parts and assemblies, right? You'll have multiple data, technical documentation which is available. Now this technical documentation might be in the form of your PDFs, your Excel files or Word files, or it might even be in the form of videos or audio files, right? All of these files are supported within Xcelerator Share. So once I do that, you can see that it'll give you an indication that all the files are being synced to your desktop. Now, this was about syncing your project's files from cloud to your desktop. But now I'll give you another scenario where I am a designer. I have created some files within Solid Edge, and now I want to share it with my, let's say, a vendor or a supplier, or maybe I want to share it with my customer for his review. So how do I do that? Again, pretty simple. You can see that with all these files have already been synced over here. If I go inside a project called Frame, now I need to add my files over here. So again, these are the Solid Edge files I've been working on. I'll just copy them and I'll just place them inside this folder for Frame. Now once I do that, you'll see that as of now it's on a local file, but within a few seconds it starts synchronizing, and all of those files will be uploaded and synchronized with your cloud. All right. So once these are synchronized, then I can go to my Xcelerator Share, and from here I can share it directly to my customer or to my different colleague from a different department. So we have created Frame, and you can see that all these files have been captured and have been synchronized on the cloud. All right. Now I want to share it like I mentioned. So all I need to do is I can select on the file, and then I can click on Share With or Share Project. Once I decide, and I can add users over here. I can define whether it's going to be internal users or it's going to be external. Let's say I want to share it with Kevin, and I want to provide a certain, when I talk about permissions, this is what I meant. So I just want him to review those files. I don't want him to have access to those files at all. I don't want him to download those files or anything of the sort. So we can provide these permissions directly over here itself. So I just want him to review, and I can share these files with him. So within a few seconds, you share that files with Kevin as well. Now, let's take another example. This example, I'm going to be a design manager, all right, and I have a design over here which has come up for review purpose. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going back to my design, and I'm going to open this component. This is basically a coffee maker from a company called Fiamma. So I can open this design over here. And like I mentioned, this tool is a fantastic tool for validating or viewing your designs as well. So as a design manager, I can zoom into it. Not only that, but I have a fantastic tool of exploding it as well. So I can explode this complete machine, and I can have a look at all the parts which are there within this assembly. All right. Now, from a design, also one more thing, we can also measure it directly over here itself within that tool. So if you want to see the dimensions, you can change it to inches as well on the go. We have that support available. Next, what I want to do is I want to make some changes to this bracket. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a task to my designer. So I'm going to create a markup, and I'm going to say, maybe you can remove some material from this part so that we can save weight. All right. So I'm going to create a markup, and I'm going to save that markup as a modify leg. Once I save that, you'll see that that markup gets saved inside the navigator. So anytime any person logs into this, they'll see that they have a markup over here, and they'll be able to identify what changes that needs to be made. All right. Now this is a task that I've come up with. Now I need to assign that to somebody within our design team. Again, very simple. You select the task, and you just go inside my task, and you define what is the task and what is the description of the task. You can also define the priority of the task, whether it's going to be urgent or it's going to be medium. You can define that. You can also define the date for the task is due. And over here, you can assign it to somebody. So I'm going to assign it to Ali. And once I hit on create task, now Ali is going to get a mail saying that there is a task which has been assigned to you in Xcelerator Share, and these are the files that are associated with the task. Not only that, he'll also get a notification saying that this is a due date that has been applied for this task. Now, from a designer, from a manager's perspective, I have access to my Kanban board, so I can make changes. So now, since the create project is paused, it's with Ali, I can put it in pause. And if I want to view more detail about this project, again, it is available at your cursor tip. So if I click on this, I can see what is the task name and what is the description for the task, and also I can see when is the due date and who the task has been assigned to, all right? So this was basically a very brief introduction about the cloud collaboration tool that we have with Xcelerator Share. Now, I understand you're going to be using collaboration tools differently. So in case if you're interested, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you and show you how this collaboration tool can help you with your organization, especially for your scenario. All right? Now the question is, when you're talking about SolidEdge Xcelerator Share, what are the storage that we're providing? Well, the base plan that we provide starts with 500 GB. So any company which goes for Xcelerator Share, they get by default 500 GB of storage. And if you want to increase that, you can increase it in the sections of 5 GB as well. Just to give you a very quick idea as to who's been using Xcelerator Share. So we have this Xcelerator Share has been in the market for quite some time now, and there are a couple of quite a few customers, out of which I wanted to show you a couple of case studies or customer success stories. So first one is a company called C2 Manufacturing. Now, the issue that they had was they were spending a lot of time for sharing files within the team with the help of the Citrix solution, all right? And then again, the existing solution that they have was not integrated with any of the Siemens portfolio solutions. So that was a big issue. So with the help of Share, since Share is completely free, along with SolidEdge or NX or any portfolio solution that you go for as a service, SaaS service, so there's no additional cost to them at all. And the best part is customers can now view files or perform basic reviews and markups without having to download additional software or purchase new NX software. All right, so this again is a big deal. When you want to share it with your customers or your collaborators or suppliers, and they don't have access to NX or SolidEdge, no worries. You can still do that with the help of Xcelerator Share. Another example that we have is from a company called Auma Engineered Products. Again, some of the challenges that they had was, they were running out of space for collaborating their large files. That was one of the biggest problems. And then communication with external suppliers was suffering because there was no streamlined process for sharing, right? So with the help of Share, running out of space is no longer a concern, because in case if you want to add it, they can add it easily. And then, when you have teams in different locations, like I mentioned, one might be in Pune, one might be in Mumbai, and one might be in Gujarat as well. Since you're working on the same collaboration tool, you can communicate and collaborate easily with the help of Xcelerator Share. So just to recap, when you talk about Xcelerator Share is not a standalone solution. It is an add-on for your existing licenses, for your existing SolidEdge or your NX or any solution within the Siemens portfolio. It provides a rich set of features to help in everyday collaboration across your teams, across your domains, or with your ecosystem players as well. All right? And the best part about this is that it's not meant only for enterprise or anything. No, even if you have a single seat of SolidEdge and you want to collaborate across with your suppliers, again, this is very, very flexible, and it's accessible for all. So with that, I'm done with my presentation. So like I mentioned again, if you have any questions that you would like to discuss about this, if you want to discuss or know how this solution can help you, we have a technical team in the back. You can approach them anytime. But if you have any specific questions now, we'll be happy to address them.
Yeah, exactly. We will be happy if you have any questions after looking at this demo and video or presentation. So how many of you are designers who collaborate with other parties within your organization? Just hand raise. Or how many of you are from vendor development where you have to deal with suppliers, vendors? Or, okay, good. And how many of you are dealing with your customers to get proposal drawing and collaborate with them? Probably you must be using emails. How many of you use emails for collaboration, give and take of information? Okay, and do you feel you get lost in your data? You can't find emails or you can't find latest copy of the data, right? So I think Xcelerator Share is a perfect solution for all these scenarios what I was talking about. This can handle any file, I mean to say. So you can collaborate on any kind of file. In fact, for your PPAP process also, if you are following that, you need to collaborate with many people. This solution can help within your organization and dealing with outside of your organization, okay? So just for a time, last call, if anybody has any questions, maybe I can answer now. Or if not, then my team is sitting over there. I'll be also sitting on that corner, so feel free to connect with us anytime. Okay? Thanks, Nitin. Thanks,
Thanks,
Danish.
Nitin. Thanks.